That dude from Rhode Island.
Welcome to another instant reaction edition of Andy Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM and Modelo and Ari. Alabama has gone down. Kalen DeBoer is now 0-2 against Brent Venables. Oklahoma, as an SEC member, owns Alabama, but not everybody else. But Oklahoma, very much alive for a playoff berth.
Yeah, man. Did they, like, I don't know. Did we talk this through right now? Are they in? Like, are they in?
They're not in, but they can beat Missouri and LSU and be in automatic. Like that's a no-brainer. They're in if they beat LSU and Missouri. If they're 9-3, then there will be an argument. It will depend on who else is 10-2. It will depend on who else everybody's beat. But if they are 10-2, they're in. There's not going to be any debate about it.
Yeah, any team with a win over Alabama who's 10-2 is in. Giving that win over Alabama a boost to your resume, you have an argument even if you're 9-3. So anyway, Brent Venables, take a bow, maybe flip a few crack some
Modelos when you get home.
I mean,
Good Lord.
God. Like, think about what we saw against Texas in Dallas.
Yes,
a month ago,
how far they've come,
man. Yeah. It's pretty incredible. And this seems like the rightful spot for where Oklahoma is supposed to be. Now, neither of us, would have picked them to win the game outright. Certainly not. We both laid the points in our simulated. I was wrong again, everyone, by the way. But I'm kind of blown away. I'm kind of blown away, Andy.
Well, they did what you have to do to beat Alabama, and that's keep them from running the ball.
Yeah.
33 carries for 80 yards, 2.4 yards per carry. Ty Simpson threw for a lot of yards, but they managed to make stops when they needed to make stops.
Well, the most important stat there is the turnover ratio. I think it was 3-0
exactly
in favor of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So one of which was a pick six, and there's some grappling online about whether or not there was a PI call on there that wasn't called. I don't know. It happened. Calls get made, they don't get made, whatever. That's not what they did. It's not the reason they lost. So it's a pretty wild turn of events. And I did say this week that I thought that one of these two teams, Alabama or Georgia, would lose. So maybe that Georgia's already won now. I
don't think we're in the press box at Georgia right now. They were just playing Migos. They tend to play the state zone. But yeah, it will be a lot of fun tonight. But if Texas wins this game, holy cow, it just plunges the SEC into all kinds of mess.
Yeah.
And I mean, Texas A&M at least didn't lose to South Carolina. That would have really messed up the top of the SEC standings.
I need you to do me a favor and do the people listening a favor. Where are we at in the SEC standings at this point? Like, who's controlling what? Like, I know this just happened, but
Texas A&M obviously controls everything and is the last undefeated team in SEC play. So Alabama, remember, only has one loss in SEC play, but has 2 losses total because they lost to Florida State.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Now you get into tiebreakers with Alabama and Ole Miss, who did not play each other. Yeah. It comes down to common opponents. It comes down to, and if there's a third team tied with 1 loss.
And if Texas wins tonight, then it gets even muddier, I think.
Correct. Because, you're going to have Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Georgia and Ole Miss at least have played.
Yeah.
Georgia beat Ole Miss head-to-head. And remember, Alabama still has that Auburn game. And look, I don't think we should be making any assumptions here.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. There's no assumptions coming from anybody in any direction in this weekend. And you were the one who was banging the drum all week, Andy, of, we think that we have a good grasp on what the playoffs should look like and where teams should be ranked, but chalk doesn't happen.
And then the bombs start dropping. We thought the bomb was coming in state or in College Station today, and it didn't. And it was like, okay, everybody breathe a little bit. And then this happened. And look, this is going to be more referendum on Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer's fine. They just keep winning. They're going to make the playoff. That their resume's just fine. I don't think they need to worry about that. They got to beat Auburn. That's that they've got to beat Auburn. That's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah. So the conference championship game, I think it's hard to kind of say what's going to happen. There's a lot of results that need to come in still. But what's happening in Atlanta or what will happen in Atlanta is an interesting discussion because, we were at a Georgia tailgate today, and there was a lot of discussion about whether or not Georgia even wanted to go.
Yes.
Are there teams that want to be 10-2 and not go?
It was so funny watching the Georgia fans as A&M was losing 30-3 at halftime because they're like, we're going to go to the SEC championship game. And they're like, wait a second, we don't want to go to the SEC championship game.
Which is kind of a sad state of affairs, really. Let's really pull back the curtain here. As we were driving into the wonderful town of Athens, by the way, shout out to this town. Shout out to the people here. Amazing hospitality, insane tailgate.
Maybe the best
scene.
College town in America.
Really took care of us today, and we appreciate you. But we talked about this notion of it means more.
Yeah.
And I acknowledged to you this morning that I think to the general person in the South, it means more. I mean, it really
well, they
does.
do. They do care a lot.
But like that's what drives me nuts about we don't want to play in the SEC championship game, because if any conference championship still means something, it has to be the SEC title, right?
We had this discussion on Thursday's show, and you were in disbelief that anybody wouldn't want to play in the SEC championship game. But the fact of the matter is, you'd rather play Navy or Tulane than you would have to play Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Even if you get a bye.
So what does this game tell you, the one that we're talking about, Oklahoma, Alabama? We thought coming into it that Alabama was probably the safe pick to be considered the best team in the SEC. They had beaten Georgia. Well, the lone loss was to Florida State in what we felt like was a fluke
It makes the rankings very hard, because how do you order Alabama and Georgia and
in the rankings,
Oklahoma? You put Georgia ahead of Alabama because Alabama has lost twice and Georgia's only lost one. And obviously, if Texas wins, then it's a more complicated.
Got a game starting here in about 30 minutes, but yeah.
But
I want to put a gun to your head.
If Georgia wins, it's easy. If Georgia loses, it's very difficult.
Okay. We obviously have a game that's starting in a half hour that's going to tell us a lot more context-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But as we instantly react to the game that we just watched, gun to your head right now, if you had to pick your favorite team or the best team overall in the SEC to make a run in January, what would you pick? Or who would you pick, I should say?
I don't know, because it would probably have been Texas A&M, but we just watched them get pushed to the limit by a pretty bad South Carolina team.
I know.
Now Alabama got pushed to the limit by that same one. The South Carolina has been bad, but has good players. But that's no excuse. Like, there's no excuse to fall behind 27 points at halftime.
Yeah.
And Alabama, same thing. They struggle with them too. So, like, I'm not gonna be the SEC homer and pretend, the mighty SEC teams, because they play other SEC teams are just automatically better. I'm not sure they are. I'm not sure there's anybody in the SEC that's close to as deep as Ohio State. I think Indiana and Oregon are probably comparable to the teams at the top of the SEC.
But there's one thing,
but
sure.
I don't think anybody's definitively superior.
And I also
in the SEC.
Think it's funny. We're going to do a little role reversal here. The schedule that Alabama has played, regardless of whether or not you think the SEC is deeper or better than the Big Ten,
they have a great resume.
But at the same time too, in this new era of college football, like, how much should we be expecting teams? We are so programmed to seeing teams have one loss or to be undefeated, or, the 2015 era where teams did this all the time. Like, should we start expecting teams to lose once or twice in conference play every year?
Yes.
Like, is this just part of life now?
Yes, it is part of life.
It's not like it's something.
Yeah, it's not like Alabama suddenly sucks.
Because you have to acknowledge that losses now don't feel quite as earth-shattering as they used to. Like, this game feels like it was just like, well, they played a really hard schedule against a team with teams with a lot of NFL players on it. Eventually, they were going to get tripped, and they got tripped. But it doesn't mean anything.
Can we also acknowledge that this game possibly turned on a Ray Finkel moment?
Yeah.
Connor Talty, the Alabama kicker, starts screaming at the long snapper as they're leaving the field at the end of the first half. He'd missed it. He'd shanked a kick. The long snapper had snapped the ball high, but the holder actually got it down, and the kicker shanked it.
The laces out.
And Talty's screaming at the long snapper. Pure Ray Finkel moment. And somebody on my Twitter, I wish I could give you full credit for it, said, it's a good thing Alabama doesn't have a live elephant mascot, or that thing would be in danger in 15 years.
Yeah. Your gun is digging into my hip.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. I'm sorry. I just spoiled a 20-year-old movie for you.
Did you see
30-year-old movie?
Did you see if the laces were out, though?
The laces were out.
Okay, so that's
John Talty of 24/7. You're not related to Connor Talty, are you?
Laces out, Dan. Laces out.
Were the laces out? John Talty, not related to Connor Talty, but also blaming the long snapper. I disagree.
Every single time I hear
you're not allowed to yell at the long snapper if you're the kicker. You should never yell at anyone on the football team if you're the kicker.
Unless
you're one of those jacked NFL kickers.
Or unless they put the laces in and you miss a kick and your career is over, and then you buy a property somewhere in rural Florida and draw laces out all over.
The thing is, we have to appreciate that actually happened. Like, the Ray Finkel moment happened and turned this game. That was the margin of victory.
Yeah. Yeah. Alabama, too, it looked like they were going to pull that one out of their bag. I don't know if you realize
Ty Simpson short-armed one that would have gotten him a first down on 2nd and 21 after taking a bad sack.
But earlier on in the possession, Andy, I believe that DeBoer and Grubb ran the same 4th and 1 play that they ran 2 years ago when they were at Washington. Remember the Wazoo?
Oh, yeah.
And they ran that 4th and 1. They got the first down barely. Then I thought they were going to go down the field and win on another ballsy call. And ironically enough, the thing that has been so impressive about Ty Simpson all year has been surgical way of going about things on 3rd down and even 4th down when it gets to that point. And they lost on 2 different situations where they could have gotten it for even the last one where they didn't get it. He could have hit he was open.
Kyle makes a great point in the chat. Brent Venables finally gets that huge win. Yes, this is Brent Venables' signature win. And I realize he beat him last year, but that was in the midst of a bad season. That was to knock Alabama out of the playoff. That wasn't as good of an Alabama team as this Alabama team.
And it means they went on the road.
Yeah, they went on the road and did this. This is a huge win. This again is the signature win of the Brent Venables era at Oklahoma.
This is the type of win that gets you another year, even if next year doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't want to go too far ahead, but it feels like Oklahoma, and I don't know what we're going to see from Texas, but these 2 Big 12 teams that weren't going to be ready to compete in this conference seem pretty ready to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen. Oklahoma, after a terrible first year in the SEC, fixed what needed to be fixed, and they are in the mix for a playoff berth. They've got to win 2 more games, and they're not easy games, but they're games they're going to be favored in.
Yeah.
They can beat LSU and Missouri, and they can go to the playoff.
Yeah, and they get both at home, too. Let's not forget that 3 of their last 4 games are on the road. Yeah. And I believe they won 3 or 4, right?
We said all offseason that last 7 games, hardest stretch ever. Now, maybe it's not because South Carolina wasn't what we thought they were going to be, and some of those teams are. But they're going to go 5-2 if they win those 2 games.
Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Michigan for the rest of the year, Andy.
Yeah, but that could look really good.
That could look really good, and if you have wins over Michigan, Tennessee, I don't know if Tennessee's going to be
Michigan's already an 8-win team. At worst, they're going to be an 8-win team, but they're probably going to be a 9-win team. And
a 9-win team that is in the back end of the top 25.
Yeah.
So, especially if they keep it close with Ohio State, which there's no reason to think that they won't, given how the last 4 years have gone. So, yeah.
Matthew, would love your thoughts as an Oklahoma fan. Am I rooting for Texas or Georgia tonight? I would say root for Georgia to just knock Texas out. You don't want other teams in the playoff mix because you actually have a chance. Well, I mean, you don't want to go 9-3 and 9-3 against them because they beat you head to head. But I think you're better off if they're 9-3.
I think it's unequivocal.
But they also
Georgia. You don't want there to be any 9-3.
The other thing is, if Texas loses tonight, they could also lose to A&M and be 8-4, and you're just not worrying about them at all.
Yeah, that's also true. You get one. I feel like I would want to avoid any sort of 9-3 comparisons.
Yeah.
So get them out of the way, and then win your next 2 games, and you're fine. But Georgia's of no threat to Oklahoma. It's the other teams that are at the bottom half of that top 12 that are flirting for that final spot.
Well, Lone Wolf says, let's go Dogs, Boomer AI. I think if you're the type of person who says Boomer sooner, I think you probably would be rooting for Georgia right now.
Yeah. Also, you don't want Texas to have anything. I think that you and A&M fans can link arms somewhere and sing Saw 'em Off.
Sing the Aggie War Hymn. Yeah.
Well, saw varsity's horn. I can't sing that in the press box.
This is going to be, not in this press box. They're playing here tonight. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, this stretch run. And I tweeted this earlier in the week. We're coming off our playoff ranking reaction show, and I tweeted, "Stop worrying about how many 10-2 teams are going to be because we keep assuming chalk, and this is when the bombs start falling. You almost saw A&M go down. You almost saw Michigan go down. They didn't. You did see Alabama go down,
and we still have games today.
Yeah. We got Ole Miss playing Florida right now. We've got Georgia playing Texas. There's still room for more bombs to drop. So." We will see what happens, but thank you for watching, and we will talk to you again after
the craziest sport in the world.
The Texas-Georgia game is the best sport in the world. Best sport in the world. We'll talk to you after this game.